Welcome back, everybody, to the Anti-Stall Racing IMSA series. Back for round 2 of season 9. A lot of races to come in a row, but we're here at Interlagos today, and yep, that is rain. And yeah, it's a lot of it due to come. Can't get the radar up for you, unfortunately, but we're due for a wet start, and I believe a pretty much entirely wet race. Race control discussing and have discussed with the drivers in the briefing earlier the possibility of using the safety car at the start of the race if it's too wet, or to start the race under safety car conditions. So that would be a single file start if we were to do so. But that's all for worrying about in about 34 minutes time now. Right now we've got to go qualifying in this huge GT3 field that we've got. About 26, 27 of them on the screen, I believe, today. So still missing a couple, but you can't complain about that field size. Obviously, these guys split between Am and Pro, but that's something that we're going to deal with in the race, not in qualifying. In the qualifying, it's just about grid position, points scored in class as well. But that's all going to come down to where you finish overall as well. So let's just see where they qualify on the grid, and we'll talk about points maybe a little bit later down the order if we can get those individual standings up. But right now, that's not what matters. Right now, what matters is qualifying position on the grid going into what is going to be a treacherous race. You do not want to be in the middle of the pack, especially if you're a pro driver, a bit more pace. You can see a bit of back and forth for position here. That's Bram in the that's Quinton Bossi, sorry, in the Ferrari that we're watching, but it's all getting just a little bit angsty there at the front of the pack, with everybody just sort of fighting over track position a tiny bit. And I think different people will have different strategies. Interlagos, obviously, we've got that huge straight that you can see there that goes all the way from turn 12, Joncao, into the Senna S at turn 1. And already we've got a little bit of a fight on screen. Quinton Bossi with on the defensive. That's one of the Acuras up the inside of that car, who then runs a little bit deep. This isn't an ideal start for either of their laps. Dave Van Eck is leading the field on this first flying lap. Just trying to find you, Dave, so we can watch along. Here he is in that beautiful BWT pink Mustang. We're getting purple sectors from behind from other drivers. We're going to try and look who that is for you shortly if we can. Just waiting for my timing screen to finish loading in for my race control display, so we can try and monitor some of the action that race control are seeing on their side. Everybody just taking it a little bit cautious. We saw this last week. The GT3s, unlike the GTPs, can get the temperature up a little bit sooner, but we still needed a build lap, and especially in these wet conditions. They have just got out of practice. They did a slightly shorter driver's briefing today, so able to get into the practice session for that last 10 minutes or so and get some running in. But track conditions will have changed a little bit, and everyone's learning as they go. Quite late into practice, everyone was still on dry tyres. I'm going to try and throw tyre compound up on screen for you. We can just check. I think they're all going to be on wets, and yep, all on the wets as we expected. So we don't really need to worry about that right now. I don't think it's going to dry up enough in the GT3 session either. So Dave Van Eck sets the benchmark time in the Mustang. That's quickly beaten by Vincent Soroche in the other Mustang to go to a 1:46.454. That puts him at the top. Errol Fault getting close in the Audi there. Only other driver within a second so far, but a lot of drivers to come across the line. This is Mick Sahan we're on board with in the 908 Acura. Daniel Morphy picks up a purple sector on his way to the line, but that's an invalid lap time for Daniel, I think, because he's not flicked up onto the timing board too early. Mick Sahan across the line goes to P7 in the DLR Acura in the GT3 Pro car. GT3 Elm, sorry, Mick Sahan, that is. Bram Karan doing an incredible job up there where he is right now in the AM car, running P5 ahead of a couple of pros that have set decent lap times as well. Cone Gerrits on a good lap in GT3 Pro in the Acura. Another DLR car to the line. It's not DLR car, it's just DLR colours to the line. Cone Gerrits goes to P3. Nice lap. Only 4 drivers within a second of that time set by Vincent Soroche, who had a mega run. Let's see what the rest of the field can do. And then we're going to get about 10 more minutes of running. Oh, and into the wall for Cohen Gerrits, who drops it on the exit of turn 4, I believe that is. Let's try and just take a look at my track map. Turn 3, sorry, Circuit de Curva de Sol just drops the rear end. That's not ideal for him at all. Jack Reed up to P11 in the number 5 Golden Porsche. Dave Van Eck coming to the line to try and set a better time, was P6, moves to P5. Brian Cran up to P3 as well in the AM Ferrari, doing an incredible job. Oriel Falk picked up 3 purples on that previous lap, but a yellow in the final sector meant they weren't able to beat the top time as they run. Daniel Morphy picking up another purple sector on this lap. Hopefully this one can be valid. Daniel in the BMW Lamborghini goes to P10. He was hoping for a little bit more than that, but it's not bad for his banker lap. We're getting times flying in right now, but no one can touch Vincent Soroche at the top, who's gone even quicker. Field incredibly close in that top 10, especially if we take Vincent and Oriol out of play. Then just half a second separating the rest of the top 12 now. Jeffrey Ross slots into P13 in the Mustang. Oh, wrong way round at turn 1 for Gerwin Meulenkamp. What happened to Gerwin? Let's take a look. Just drops the rear end, and it's just a little bit too much. And wow, lucky to avoid a bigger incident there. We've got a nice anti-store racing replay graphic back up for you today. Senna Botkoven goes to P14, fought for the win at Monza last week. Unfortunately, when he was leading, got caught up behind some lapped traffic, which it compromised his run a lot. Oriol Folch had a little bit of a moment, but Vincent Soroche is going to have another run at it. Senna Botkoven will be hoping for a little bit more with a couple of AM drivers inside the top 5. Brian Cram and Sander Boer both doing very well. Vincent Soroche goes even clearer at the top. A 45.311. Mega lap from Vincent. I just realised you've not had game audio. Apologies for that. We've now got that up for you. Gosh, Vincent Soroche in that beautiful Vesa Sport Mustang. Now we've got the new moment for Jack Reed, who's off the road. Not sure what happened to Jack. I think he might have just pulled off safely to get out the way of oncoming traffic. Senna improving then. Green so far for the Corvette AM driver. Amira Mohammedi goes up to 18th place. It's a big improvement in lap time, but it'll be hoping for a little bit more. And Senna, well, he was hoping for more through turn 11, but the car was saying no. And it's gone wrong for Senna, who in these slippy conditions was just struggling for grip through one of the genuinely highest speed corners of the track. You carry an awful lot of speed through there in dry conditions, but you can see the rain still coming down and starting to settle a little bit more on the track as well. We're going to be going in some dangerous territories in GTP. Oriol Falk trying to get within 1 second, well, within half a second, should we say, of Vincent Soroche, but he's picked up a purple on sector 1, then a couple of yellows to follow that. Vincent Soroche, on the other hand, is probably going to go quicker because he's picked up green, purple, yellow. So can Vincent Soroche improve to go even clearer at the top? That's what he'll be hoping for. We're going to watch that time as he comes across the line. It's a 45.171. That moves him, well, basically a second clear of Oriol Falk. So Oriol will be hoping for improvement on this lap if he can. There's still about 5 minutes to go in this session, so plenty of time for some of these cars to improve. Oriol Falk across the line does improve ever so slightly, but kind of looked like he was dragging his teammate around that lap a little bit. Just trying to work out who that is behind us. Adam Jarvis, who, well, if that is what was going on there, a little bit of a tow, that's worked wonders for these two, because that's put Adam Jarvis up to P4, so they've got 2 cars to fight at the front today. They can work together in the race as well. A lot of today's race, if the rain holds, is going to be all about keeping it calm and keeping it steady and working your way around the track at a steady but stable pace, not pushing the car too much. You can go, it's all right going a second a lap quicker in the rain, but if you're going to drop 20 seconds by putting it in the wall, you're throwing away any hope you would have had. Sven Elmer's improving. Sven just been a little bit behind the other two so far today, but he's closer to Oriol than he was before, and a purple and 2 greens on this lap might be enough to catapult him towards the top of the leaderboard. What is this, a 46.404? So improves, but doesn't improve his position, just makes that P3 a little bit safer. But I tell you what, he's only 700ths clear of Jeffrey Ross, who is by no means a safe position. Jeffrey Ross, who's moved up to P4, pushed Adam Jarvis down a position. Dave Van Eck off the road in the Mustang there. What happened to Dave? Got a couple of replays to look at actually, Dave. So it's going to be similar to what we saw for Senna, I think, is it? Yeah, just drops the rear over the curb there actually on the white line as well. So it's possibly the result of that here. This is what happens to Matteo Lemre in the Mustang, not the Mustang, sorry, the Mercedes. And his teammates coming through, but stays off the road nicely to let all of the traffic through before rejoining. Well, Oriol and Daniel have both got a little bit closer on that last run. Daniel now within a second as well, but I'll tell you what, got within a second. Who was that? And just dropped it. Sander Bauer, I think. No, Sander Bauer just dropped it through turn 11. Turn 11's going to claim some drivers in the race at this rate, given the drop-off that we're seeing from some people through there. They've just not got the grip to hold up. Daniel Morphy with a very impressive lap time that put him within a second, actually. But Vincent Soroche has just been able to hold that lead right now, and he's trying to improve again this lap, but it's a yellow sector 1, so I wonder if he's just taken the life out of the tyres a little bit too early. We'll just do a cheeky, quick tyre compound check. I think we're all going to be on wet still, are we? Yeah, as expected. Lots of yellow on the timing board right now. No one really finding improvement, but I tell you what, Oriol Falk can't be far off an improvement because he's hunting for the grippier bits of a track in the braking zone there, and he's got a purple sector in sector 3, but it's a collection of yellows to go alongside it. So what can Oriol do? We've got a bunch of drivers about to come across the line. Jack Reed doesn't improve. Bram Karan does improve up to P9 from P10. Alex Hart's going to be next across the line. Currently P8, stays P8. Oriol Falk, currently P2, stays P2. No improvement for Oriol. Jabino across the line up to P2 from down in 12th or something like that. Didn't quite see the number before he came across the line. Wow, didn't expect that. We've got another driver challenging at the front in the Acura, finding a little bit of time out there on the track. Vincent Ossoms improves to P5 with a 46.220. Wow, that was a mega lap from Jabrino to go P2. Sven Elmer's improving. He's picked up a purple sector as well. Currently down in P7. A couple of yellows, so I don't think it's going to move them to the top, but it could be a couple of positions as Sven comes across the line, but no improvement. Lost too much time in the latter half of the lap. Fabio Jabrino and Oriol Falk both in the garage. That's going to be session over for them. Vincenzo Soroche Jr. at the front, still improving. With a green on this lap so far. Cohen Garrett's improvement. Alex Ott has been off the road, but it's bailing to pit lane now because we've had the GT3 checkered flag. Believe we're not getting race control message on the screen during qualifying because they've been blocked by the messages at the bottom. We'll try and confirm that shortly. I can confirm we have had that checkered flag in race control for GT3, so this is going to be it. The number 8 across the line, Daniel Morphy, looking to improve. What can Daniel do? It is an improvement, but doesn't move him up any further on the tower. Mohammadi looking to improve in the Kunju car. Currently sits 17th in the Audi. Previous lap time of 47.325, so there's lots of time to find, and does find time 47.108. Finds a couple of tens. Well done, up to P16 in the AM car. Jeffrey Ross improves as well behind that, up to P4. Strong day for the Mustangs right now. Jesus Jimenez is going to be next across the line, trying to find the camera for you, and we're going to miss that one, so let's find the 316 of Sven Elmers. He's going to be next across the line, but Sven bails to the pit lane. That is your qualifying order. That is your grid order in GT3. Vincenzo Soroche takes pole position ahead of Fabio Jabrino, Oriel Folt, Jeffrey Ross, and Daniel Morphy. Make up your top 5. Brancram will take pole position. Points in GT3. And then Sander Bow and Senna Botkov, and only one place behind them on the grid, with Gregory Collar in the Pro Car separating the top 3 in GT3. So Senna and Sander just doing what they needed to get up to the front in that session. Right, green flag GTP. They're going to be led on the outlap by Eloy Cabinero. Always keen to get to the front of the queue is Eloy. Well, we saw in dry conditions these GTP tyres not working incredibly well in qualifying, and most drivers just doing either the one run and some risking doing 2 runs, but you do only get 2 proper warm tyre flyers in the dry. On the warm, but we've seen in the wet before, the tyres take longer to heat up normally anyway. Race control, 26 and 21 permitted to start the race. They were outside of the 105%, but we've seen from past experience that they will be plenty quick enough, and it is a wet qualifying session. Eloy Cabinero are going to lead them to the green. Like we were saying, we've seen in wet sessions before people run the whole session or split that into 2, but we're just going to see how these drivers are finding the new physics model. Less aerodynamic grip in these GTPs, which might make getting a tyre temperature in the wet even harder than it was before. We've already got a couple of drivers off at the back in GTP, Notcar Nguyen being one of them. Panto Avale still in the pits. Gianni Kakkonen on his way back out of the pits. Eloy Cabinero is going to lead them to the green then for the start of the flying laps, and he's followed closely behind by the BMW. I think that is running behind him, just trying to find out. I believe that may be Albert Preem. Some reason we're not getting the right livery on that BMW, and we didn't last week either. We're going to try and work that out for next week if we can. Albert Preem then down the inside into turn 4. That's how you know this is a build lap for most of these drivers. I know we've got pace difference between some cars, but we would not expect this kind of overtaking, shall we say, in on normal flying laps. So everyone just hunting for the grip a little bit out there today. Purple sector 1 though has been set by Alvaro Gutierrez, a couple of cars back from these guys, and purple sector 2 just been nicked by Nicole Monti. We've seen this before, different drivers taking different approaches. Some people pushing early on, and with the rain coming down and only half the grid on the track, you'd expect the conditions to get progressively worse throughout the session. I mean, we did see some improvements in GT3 as the session went on, but people were struggling to find time towards the end of that session. Albert Preem is going to be first across the line. He is going to set that benchmark time, but not sure how long that's going to last. It's a 1:40.227 is your benchmark time in GTP. Notcar Nguyen has had a problem, and it's just off in the Ferrari trying to find grip in the wet, and it's just not sticking for the driver. Albert Preem still sits at the top. But like we said, this is build laps. This is build laps for these drivers, just getting temperature in the tyre, just getting a feel for the track. Remember, the GT3s were able to jump straight into qualifying after their practice session. But the GTPs have had to sit in the pit lane stewing for about... Oh, and big spin there for Eli Singh. Running just in front of Eloy Cabinero, but they both get away with it. These GTPs have had to sit in the pit lane just waiting for about 15 minutes, watching the track conditions get worse. You can see some parts of the track drier than others. The rain looks a little bit lighter than it did 15 minutes or so ago, but again, it's not dry. It's definitely wet, and we'll just confirm that all of these drivers are on that wet tyre, and they are as expected. Albert Preem then improving. We've got purple coming in by 2 greens, and it's a 36.325, and that's 4 seconds quicker than he went on his previous lap. So I think that's more the realistic time. But you look at an error, sets a 140.414, and I tell you what, it is getting drier, isn't it? There's not anywhere near as much rain, if any rain, on this half of the circuit. Let's see if this holds for the start of the race. Shepherd goes to P4. Going to fix Shepherd's name for you as well on screen. Should just take us a second. And there we go. And it's not turning lovely. I'm going to get that fixed for you just quickly, just so you're all aware. Unfortunately, I am on my own in the booth today, so just trying to work out some technical issues and provide you with some lovely commentary to go alongside it. There is a couple of incidents coming in from GT3 qualifying people not happy with other cars, but very difficult in these conditions to fully stay out of people's way, and lots of people spinning. Maximilian Mayer goes to the top, beats that Mega Preem time. It's a 35.220, and Samira Shard goes quickly. It's a 35.019. So, is it drying up? No, we've got rain again at turn 2 now. Pete Preem's off the road. There's a lot less rain in this final sector now, so we've clearly got some clouds moving across the circuit. Eli Singh, P17, still a little bit off the pace, but just finding his way after that spin. Just building it up cautiously. Leon Van Ellerwatt goes P3. Ethan Koikov P5. Sergio Sanchez P5. Albert Preem P6. Eloy Cabinero P7. Samuel M. Shepherd P8. Ruben Stegemann P9. Casper Hu P10 make up your current top 10. Albert Preem improving. Triple purple for the Dutchman in the BMW. See what he can do. Run to the line, cut across the pit lane as they all do. That is allowed. And to the line, another green sector to finish off a lap. And it's back up to P1 for Albert Preem, and 9/10 clear of Samir Rashad is really throwing down the gauntlet. But Samir is about to get to the line as well. What can Samir do to try and improve? A couple of purples on that lap as well, and does improve, but it's not enough to challenge. But I tell you may challenge is Ayrton Koikkoven, who's picked up a few greens and in a purple sector 4 and is getting a nice toe. He can't see much, but he is getting a bit of top speed down this main straight to the line. Ayrton Kooijkanen P6 to P2, 3 tenths, nearly 4 off the back of Albert Priem, but that's a nice improvement for Ayrton. And they're side by side through turn 3, because why wouldn't they be? Alvaro Gutierrez off the road. Let's take a look at what happened to Alvaro. Oh, just on the curb. Yeah, that will happen. Brody also off the road at turn 1, trying to go around the outside in that ASR Cadillac, and just goes deep on the brakes. And does he keep it out the wall? Yes, he does. And Brody yet to set a sort of more competitive lap time. He's got that banker time in, but 7 seconds off the pace right now, which is definitely not what he needs. What can Brody do? We're going to watch him for a couple of moments. He's got that lovely ASR livery on, driving in the AM category, but driving very well last week in qualifying and getting caught up in the lap 1 incidents that we had, and drove a pretty decent recovery race. Couple of incidents, but moved his way back onto the podium by the end of the race. Maximilian Meyer across the line, currently P4, goes back up to P3. Samir Rashad across the line. What can Samir do? It's back up to P1 for Samir. Lap times tumbling at Interlagos in these drying conditions. Sergio Sanchez across the line, jumps up to P5 from P8. Track is clearly ramping up. Ayrton Kooijkanen's backed off, I think, now. Juanto Avale across the line stays where they were. Juanto goes up to P17, just a little bit of delay on the timing board. Brody Maynard across the line. Casper Hill across the line first, P9 for Casper, stays P9. Brody P20 up to P15, and that's a little bit more like it, but still a couple of seconds off these front runners who've got that wet setup really dialed in. Ben Groveland, wrong way around for Groeneveld. Gets it going. Thiago de Mira improving. It's because they've not set a proper lap time, but I tell you what, if you're going to set a proper lap time, that's a big improvement from where they were, but needs a little bit more than that. Currently 7 seconds off the back of the pack in that Cadillac. Albert Priem sat down in second after losing the previous run to Samir Rashad, but no one improving on this lap really. So perhaps a recharge lap for most of these guys. We're about halfway through the session now. Nock Khan Nguyen improving as well. Nguyen across the line. Where does that put the driver of the number 3 Ferrari? And that's not a valid lap time, so Nguyen's really got to find some stability in the car here. There's pace in the sector times. I'm looking at the sector times. They're not a million miles off what they need to be, but just needs to string a lap together without an off. Technically, Monty can't improve, neither can Casper Hu. Brody Maynard looking for an improvement, and there's going to be one as long as it's valid. And there is an improvement, but lost a little bit of time in that last sector and doesn't actually move up the leaderboard, unfortunately. Emre Kamaldar across the line. Improvement, but invalid for Emre, so stays P14. Pete Priens across the line, P11. Ruben Stegemann across the line, P8 to P6 for Ruben in the 81 Porsche. Casper Hu off the road, but we're looking at Albert Priem. He makes his way up the hill. Across the line for Albert Priem. Doesn't improve, unfortunately, for him. Samir Rashad doesn't improve either. I think these are rebuild laps for a lot of these guys. Nguyen sets a lap time now, but a 35.175 is not going to be good enough for race control, you wouldn't have thought. GTP checkered flag. That's the message from race control. It's hiding at the bottom there, but we've got it. Emre Kamaldar stays. No goes P10. With improvement, and we've got a car sideways in the middle of the road, and that's not ideal for anybody making their way through turn 4 and turn 5. And we've got another car, 2 cars off the road. Wow, they're crumbling at the end of the session with people just trying to find a little bit of lap time. Guillermo Rito in the 269 is 22 seconds off the pace right now. Ricardo Riva is not taking part in this session. He joined in the wrong car. That's why that driver's not set a lap time. Albert Preem has done what he did last time. It's a purple, but it's a bunch of yellows to go with it. So can Albert Preem improve as he comes across the line? No, he can't. Provisional pole position stays with Samir Ashad. Eloy Cabanero across the line. 35-0 improves but doesn't move anywhere. Sane goes for Maximilian Meyer. Ayrton Koykoven is the only hope of knocking Samir Ashad off that top step, but he'll have to find half a second. That's going to be difficult with a purple sector, but 3 yellows to go with it. But I tell you what, Ayrton's going to be picking up a mega toe up the hill and dives to the inside. And does he go to the pit lane? No, he doesn't. He finished off a lap, tucks up nicely against the wall for the maximum lap time. Doesn't improve though, stays P3. And Juan Suavali goes to P5 right at the end there. Guillermo Rito across the line. What can Guillermo do? It's not going to be good enough. Stays P24. Brody Maynard P16 and stays there. Maximilian Meyer is the only car still out there, but I believe he has taken the checkered flag, if I'm not mistaken. So that's going to be a lap time over. And that is your grid then, I believe. Samir Ashad is on pole position in GTP. Albert Preem on the front row with him. Ayrton Koykova, Maximilian Meyer, Juanto Avale make up your top 5. Samuel M. Shepard takes pole in AM for points. Leon Van Elwart P2, Nicole Monti P3, Casper Hu P4, and Pete Preens P5. Ricardo Rive, you can see DSQ join in the wrong car. Some confirmation from race control. Right, 5 minutes of warm-up for drivers to get accustomed to the track conditions out there in the wet. Those GT3s haven't been on track for 15 minutes, so those guys are going to need to find their footing again. And the GTPs, those of them that aren't pushing up pit lane already, are going to need to try and find a little bit more lap time. Sorry, not lap time. Those GT3s are going to need to get re-familiarised with the track. I think we're going to get some GTPs maybe taking a short break to just let everything calm down, relax a little bit, maybe grab a drink, maybe grab a snack before we get into this 1 hour. It is sort of an endurance race. It's an hour. It's not a 10-minute sprint, but I tell you what, you have to drive like it's a sprint. Sometimes the pace that most of these guys have, and you can't rely on mistakes, especially at the front of the field. Grenfell on the radio.
Okay.
Radio check, yeah, we got that.
If race control could please check my last lap, turn 4 into 5.
Race control asking for confirmation to...
Ben, please report it after the race. We're not going to be able to do that now. I'm sorry.
Asking for race control to report that driver. We got confirmation just then that the 6 and the 101 have been given permission to start the race. I'm going to find the results document from race control for qualifying, just so I can tell you that is. So that's Tiago da Costa de Mira given permission to start the race, and Daniel Reneke given permission to start the race. Yanni Kakinen, Ben Greneveld, and Notkan Nguyen still then waiting for a decision on those cars, whether they'll be given permission to start the race. That's car number 2. He's been given permission to start the race. Yanni Kakinen, sorry, and then Ben Greneveld and Notkan Nguyen, obviously a bit further off the pace, and Guillermo Rito a long way down the order. So race control just reviewing all their laps, I think, and practice laps to see if those drivers can start. Waiting for confirmation from that. We'll get it in the next 2.5 minutes. If you're new to the series and you're seeing these black flags pop up, they're not all being given necessarily by race control, especially in this warm-up session. Most of these black flags are going to just be people speeding in the pit lane, just testing the limit of the pit entry and pit exit lines. And we're also going to be seeing...
All right, as your weekly reminder, we ask for GT3 pole sitter, which is Vincenzo. We ask you to leave a roughly 20 to 25 second gap to the hypercar field. Very roughly given everything going on. As a reminder to all classes and all cars, we will be doing a single file race start, single file, and the race does not start on the green flag. The race will start when your class leader goes in within the indicated start zone.
That's Andy, our race director, coming on to give us his usual 20-second gap reminder to the GT3 pole sitter. But crucially, what you will have heard him say just then is that we are waiting for we're going to be doing a single file start due to these conditions, so that gap may be slightly bigger as the cars sort themselves out in single file conditions. That's a 95. Ben Groneveld given permission to start the race. Just waiting to find out on not Khan Nguyen and Ricardo Riva now. Race control team Andy and Amy today doing a brilliant job as always. If you're looking to get involved in the series, if it's as a driver, head over to the Discord channel and pick up the reserve driver role. Reserve driver roles will get notification whenever a seat opens up in either class or whichever one they choose. And anybody that wants to get involved in the organisational side of things, we always love to have more people coming in and helping with the race control team. That's stewarding, managing positions under cautions, and just reviewing general behaviour on track. And then obviously always love to have new people in the booth as well to help out whenever they feel like they can. No formal commitments needed. Even if you just want to join us for 1 week and try it out, we'd love to have anybody who wants to join us. And that applies to the drivers as well. If you feel like you need a week off from driving or you're away, something like that, but you still want to join for some commentary to watch alongside me, would never go amiss. Although race control might not be keen on... all cars permitted to start. So that's the 34 and the 3. Then we've got confirmation that they are going to be given permission to start.
Andy, a quick question. Where do we need to be single file?
I would say as fast as possible. So when you start rolling, you go in single file.
Yes, I agree with Jeffrey. So, yes, as you pull away from the grid, pull away in single file order. So behind, if you're P2, behind P1, if you're P3, behind P2, etc. And to car 269, I believe you've been gridded behind the GT3 field. We ask you please to overtake the GT3 field so that you are at the end of the hypercar field. We will clear your black flag at the race start.
Will do.
So, Riso gridded behind the GT3 class. He's been told to overtake the GT3 class, and everyone will be going to single file as they leave the grid, which is going to help avoid.
Warning to the GT3 cars to let car 269, the red Ferrari hypercar, pass, please.
Getting ready to go green. Ignore those starter lights at the top. I'll get them off if I can, but I can't remember where the button is to do that. And you got to remember, as Andy says many times every week, the race does not start on the green flag. The race starts when the leader in your class goes, and that in the GTP field is Samir Shod, who will leave the field to green. Already got some crashes showing up on my radar, but I leave.
Single file sur du terrain.
Confirm, single file. Single file pulling away from the grid, please.
Right, here we go then. Samir Rashad is going to lead them to green. He's backing up the field now. He's got to maintain a consistent pace. And he has to go in the start zone. Albert Preem is going to try and get a jump from behind in the BMW. And everyone's stacking up behind now, getting ready to go green.
Green flag.
And that's green. So Samir Rashad has gone at the front. And there was a little bit of hesitation at the back to go, but we've all made it into turn one so far. We're all going to make it through turn one. We've got a lot of action further back there. We're too wide through turn two. Can we hold it too wide? No, we can't, but it's all settled out, and we're checking up in front with everyone struggling to put the power down a little bit in GTP. The leaders have jumped away at the front because of this concertina that we've got running at the back of the field. Just look how bad the spray is. Those guys at the back are not going to be seeing anything.
Race control just goes rammed from behind.
We've got chaos at the GT3 start, I think, unfortunately.
I've been hit, Andy.
Apologies for the glitches that we're getting on screen.
We will check the drive-through, Daniel.
Hey, can you please cancel my black flag?
Apologies, everybody, for that. Some network issues that we got disconnected from the session, but we're back in. Samir Rashad is still leading by just over a second, just under now, actually. It's ping-ponging that gap to Samir Rashad, to Albert Preem, sorry. And Albert Preem actually under attack there in the braking zone of turn 1. Ayrton Koikkonen trying to find his way through on the BMW. I believe both of the starts are under investigation from race control. Brian Cran not happy as well with whatever's going on with his car. Emery Kamaldar's had a moment as well. What's happened to Emery in the Cadillac? Acura, sorry, in the Acura, the green Acura that we're seeing on screen. Waiting for some of our liveries to refresh as well. The reloading into the session. And whoa, drops the rear end and braking. And he's just running a little bit close to the car in front. Oriol Falk on the attack, trying to get back ahead of Fabio Giabrino. These two fighting it out in qualifying. The Audi looking for a gap on the inside. Going to find a gap on the inside at turn 1. Can he get it stopped in time? With Donald Duck on the side of the Spanglish Inquisition car. Yes, he does get it stopped and puts his foot down to drive out of the corner. Let's get Helmer Rito off the road there as well in the GTP. And Oriol Falk moves up to P2. Awful lot going on. We're going to try and keep you up to date on everything that we can. Emir Mohammadi looking for a move here on the Corvette ahead. That's Senna Botkoven in the AM car ahead that Mohammadi is trying to get by, and I think Mohammadi is going to get by surely here. And the 911 Porsche trying to follow through as well. And that's a net position there for Emir Mohammadi. Melvin Gack and Senna Botkoven battling out. That's given Melvin a great opportunity to try and move ahead of his rival Senna Botkoven, who's gained a few positions off a start here to get up to the front. And that was the Audi just in the wall there, I think we saw on the side. Yeah. Mahir Mohammadi's been off after he got past these two. A lot of drivers coming on the radio asking for race control to review incidents, so we'll keep you updated on anything that we can. Ruben Stegemann in a battle here. Multiple incidents under investigation. Tiemann Scholten trying to get by the pro car ahead of Carlos Villarejo. And he's through. Casper Hu on the radio a lot. Not sure what's going on there. Nyok trying to get past Ben Groneveld ahead, but he's under attack from Thiago De Mira behind. Eli Singh. And this is a wrong move that we've seen. This is what got a car off ahead. And far too much going on for the driver tracker to handle. It's Eli Singh making his way back through the field, actually. See how treacherous the conditions out there are today. Everyone struggling to find some good ground. Ruben Stegemann, another position. But Emery Kamalda is going to fight back in the BMW, and they make contact. And that contact is under investigation. We are trying to load the correct paints in as well in the background for these drivers. It's close at the front. Samir Rashad has caught the traffic and it's pushing him back into Albert Preem and Ayrton Koikkonen and Maximilian Meyer. They're all within a second of each other, sometimes half a second. These four are going to battle it out into turn 1, you would have thought. They've got a bit of clean air ahead of them now. before they catch the back of the Pro GT3 field. Rain still coming down here at Interlagos, but it's not as heavy as there was some risk of. Adam Jarvis getting past Gerwin Mullenkamp. That's Mullenkamp in the damaged Acura, is it? No, it's not. Past the Audi. Well, Audi past the Audi. Nice one. Nice move for Adam Jarvis. What's happening here with Senna and Melvin? They're side by side. Melvin trying to find a gap, and the traffic is coming into play here, definitely in this lead battle in GT3 AM. We saw these two going at it last week, and I think we're going to get the same again. Senna leading the two of them right now, but I can't imagine it's going to stay that way for the whole race. And Melvin's trying to make it the other way around right now. Melvin trying to go around the outside. Senna gets a slide on. And this has brought Mick Sayan right back into the battle. Senna got the inside line, the grippier line under these conditions. Gets it slowed down nicely, and they're still side by side on the exit, but Melvin slots through and takes the position to ahead of the Corvette driver. Ayrton looking for a move on Albert Preem, who's lost a bit of ground to Samir Rashad in this most recent traffic debacle. They're trying to make their way through the field as cleanly as they can. The GTP's been fairly clean, actually. GTP on GT3, what we've seen so far. GTP start, no further action is going to be taken by race control. It's good because we don't have a chance to review it. And Albert Preem is defending into turn one. And no real need to in the end there for the BMW driver. Ruben Stegemann trying to get past Casper Hoot. Ruben 20 seconds behind the pack in front of him, so I believe Ruben may have had an incident earlier on that we didn't catch, unfortunately. And it's all on at the front. Samir Rashad just 2 tenths clear of Albert Preem. I tell you what, the traffic and the weather, it's a great combination for these battles at the lead. Nobody is ever comfortable. Albert Preem trying to go around the outside of Samir Rashad. Can he make it work? And he's going to box Samir in behind the Acura GT3 there that you see on the outside of the 07 racing car. And that's a move for Albert Preem into the lead of GTP. 12 minutes into the race, he's taken the lead. He needs to try and stretch that lead right now because I tell you what, even if Samir isn't the one to have a go at him, it won't be long until somebody else makes their way through the pack, and it won't be long before they catch some traffic at the wrong time for Preem. Fortunately, that's not it in the final corner. But not a great entry into the corner for Preem, and he's going to be under attack before we even get to the braking zone. Looking at that gap right now, the Ferrari as well, good straight line speed coming up behind him. You can see, although Albert's just managed to navigate that traffic a little bit better, a little bit more confidence, and he's going to have to defend to the inside because otherwise Samir would be all over him. He's not going to defend Samir. Ooh, thought he had a chance, but Albert covers him off under the brakes. Oh, and the Porsche looking for a way past the GT3 Pro leader there. That's Vincent Soroche, who's got a 1 second lead right now. Leon Vanella, what leads in GTPM. We're not spoken about that category much so far, but that's because the battle is on at the front. Carlos Ponce alongside Ben Groneveld as these two battle it out. Not Carnoy getting involved in that blue Ferrari as well. That's going to be a position for Knock, is it? No, we can't make it work mid-corner. Doesn't have the power on the throttle. Not enough grip in that Ferrari to go flat through there just yet. And side by side now, and Carlos Ponce briefly ahead of Ben Groneveld, and he is ahead of Ben Groneveld now as the track works in his investigation. Ponce trying to work out who that is, the VIL. Not sure it's the 26, but Nguyen all under investigation for an incident. Sven Elmers looking for the move on Vincent Ossoms, just 3 tenths behind the P6 car in GT3 Pro, and they're alongside, and there's contact. as the GTP comes into play. And Samir Rashad is back ahead of Albert Preem as they make their way up the main straight, up the hill. Samir Rashad has cleared Albert Preem. Well, that didn't take long for Samir to get back at Albert Preem. Albert's going to have to try and go around the outside into turn 1. Don't think there's going to be enough grip on that high line, surely under braking, to make a decent attack. And there's not, but Albert is going to try and set it up through turn 2. And he's got a mega run at the apex of turn 2, actually. This could be on for Albert Preem if he gets good drive down, and he is getting good drive down. He's cut that gap by half a second through turn 3. He's looking for a toe. He's looking for the inside. He's trying to scare Samir off the road, but it's not going to work. Samir Rashad keeps a level head and gets a run through turn 4 nicely. Brody Maynard round the outside of Thiago da Costa. These two side by side. Can they make it work? The Ferrari GT3 in front. And there's not enough room for Brody alongside there. Not quite far enough ahead either. But Brody, is he going to get a good run? Both of these cars, Cadillac drivers. Brody would have been hoping for a little bit more out of qualifying. Oh, we got Spinner on the straight. That's the 62 running without a rear wing. And he collects Brody on the straight. What are we going to do? Brody holding station nicely there. Not sure what we can do here. And that's a great chopper angle. Brody just trying to wait for a gap to carry on around the lap. Monty giving a mute. This is Monty here, running with no rear wing. We saw this car like this earlier on in the race, and contact with the GT3 actually that put him in the wall. And Brody is unable to avoid the spinning car of Monty, who bounced off the wall with some serious force. Yanni Kakkonen making his way through the field. Passing some of our GC3 cars. Ben Groneveld and Thiago de Mira. Ben Groneveld and Carlos Ponce. Now at it. But Ben Groneveld just able to hold that pace advantage, it looks like. Matteo Lemre picking up a black flag. That's for incident point limits, I believe. Whoa! Emre Kamaldar takes avoiding action in turn 1. That's what happened to Matteo. So last incident has picked up his drive-through penalty. And he's been saying amongst the drivers that this AMG just not handling well in the rain compared to what he's used to in the Ferrari that he's driven in the past and the McLaren. And yeah, just spins around. Ben Groneveld on the attack once again. Carlos Ponce has got by. This is how Carlos Ponce got past Ben Groneveld. Oh, Ben just slow off the exit. Probably stuck behind the GT3 a little bit, and that's going to let Carlos through. Ruben Stegemann has got past got past Casper Hu, and he used the traffic well there. Ruben ran the outside and slows it down nicely to slot back in behind the Mustang. Samir Rashad has extended his lead in GT3 Pro. He's 2 seconds clear now over Albert Preem, but it's not over till it's over a long way to go in this race, and that rain looks like it's slowing down a little bit, but we are quite far away. And if we go closer in, we can still see it coming down. And it's definitely wet conditions out there. Can't imagine we're going to get to the dries during this race. Sanchez chopping and his way through the traffic, just trying to keep ahead of his teammates. 1.7 seconds behind him right now. Well, now Albert Preem falling back from Samir Rashad and falling back into the grasp of Ayrton Kooijkoven. Ayrton's been getting for a couple of laps now, and he's picking up a mega tow here as they lap one of the other cars. And not close enough this time by, but right on the bumper of Albert Preem through turn 1. And Albert may even have to slow up a little bit here behind the Porsche, and this could be a mega opportunity for Ayrton if he can make it work, but I don't think there was enough of a lift from the car in front. Daniel Morphy and Sven Elmers battling it out. Sven in the Acura, Daniel in the BMW Lamborghini Huracan. And just behind them is a lapped car. That's the other car that you could just see a moment ago. Daniel Morphy looks like he's going to get a really good run at it here into turn 1. It's rare that we see big sends in GT3, but I think we could be about to see one, and we don't. But Daniel opts for the high line to try and cut back into turn 1 and turn 2 to maximise that run down the back straight. Well, I say back straight, but it's not really a back straight because it's only 2 corners away from the main one. But he's going to get a good run here down towards turn 4. But he's not close enough. That Acura's just got enough straight line speed to stay ahead right now. That's how it looks anyway. Maximilian Mayer falling back into the grasp of Sergio Sanchez here. Sanchez down the inside. No, he's not. And I tell you what, he's going to be, because that's a mistake from Meyer in front. And they're going to be, well, 3 abreast maybe even into turn 4, are they? Because Cabinero was just closing up to the back of Sanchez on the way into turn 1. That's not going to be the position that's going to be decided in turn 4, though, it looks like. And can Maximilian Meyer stay ahead on the brakes? He rolls it in ahead. Does he keep it on the road? Yes, he does. So these 3 are going to stay in their current formation. Still nip and tuck between the 3 GTPs sitting in 4th, 5th and 6th. Today is a day where you just want to finish. You just, whoa, and as I say, that Sanchez nearly makes it so he doesn't, and that's going to let both of his teammates through closed up to the back. And that's a 20-second time penalty for, is that the 92? Is that Mayer? No, it's a different MAY. Trying to work out who the 92 is. Will be on my other display. That's Brody Maynard given a 20-second time penalty for an incident on lap 1. It's going to hurt his race. The driver who's already a long way back after that incident on the start-finish stretch. And I told you that lead would not stay at 2 seconds, and it's not going to stay at 2 seconds because Albert Preem is just a 10th behind on the way into turn 4, and there was nearly contact as we cut to the action. Whoa, and over the water, Albert Preem gets all risky in the BMW. And wow, Albert Preem, give yourself a pat on the back. Don't know how you managed to keep that pointing in the right direction. And we've now got in-game audio. Once again, apologies that we lost that. Lemeray clearing his black flag that we saw him pick up a couple of laps ago. And that's just given Samir Shad a little bit more breathing room, and it's not going to allow Albert Preem much time to get back up to pace because Ayrton Koykoven is right on the back of him now. No one fancy taking it easy. I said it when we came back online, and I'll say it again. Leon Van Elewot and the rest of the AM cars doing a mega job. They're just keeping it on the road. But Leon Van Elewot 8 seconds clear in the lead, and same goes to Vincent Soroche. He's only a second ahead of Oriol Folk, but he's maintained that gap for pretty much the entire race. Melvin Gak is now 6 seconds ahead of Senna Botkoven after we saw those two battling it out earlier, but don't count Senna out yet and don't count out any sort of strategy here. We've seen people do the one stop around Interlagos before. We're 24 minutes in. We've not had a pit stop yet for most of these cars. Oh, we've got cars off on the straight. And Albert Preem is ahead of Samir Rashad. But what happened there? Gregory Kohler was one car that's had an incident, but that's not going to be the incident that we saw. Not Car Noyen off track, and that's going to be what it is. Oh, and that's the GT3 Am leader that he caught, the Porsche.
Thank you.
Melvin Gak with big damage to the Porsche. As that was Noyen, wasn't it, that lost it? And that's given the lead back to Senna Botkoven. We said it wasn't over till it was over in that class. And wow, that's going to go under investigation from race control. And I think we've already had the message that it is under investigation from race control. And while our leaders were lucky to just about escape that, but Albert Preem in the chaos got back past Samir Rashad, and Ayrton Koykoven is now right on the back of Samir Rashad. What can Koykoven do for DLR in the Porsche? Get a good run out of the final corner, and that gap is slowly coming down. No, it's not, because Samir Rashad has got a good run on Albert Preem here. I think they're all going to be good into turn one. So let's take a look at Albert Preem's move to take the lead. Whoa, and Albert Preem taking advantage as Samir Rashad had to lift off to avoid the Porsche. Wow. Heads up driving from Albert Preem, and Ayrton Koykoven now all over the back as they go down towards turn 4 of Samir Rashad, who fortunately for him this time does not have to lift for a spinning Porsche. It's Melvin Gak to the pit lane. So we were just about to say before all of that went down that we've seen the one-stop work here before, and Ayrton Koykoven gets all over the road, and he's going to have to just back off and cool it down for a little bit. We've seen the one-stop work here before in the dry, and these GTPs with bigger fuel tanks than they used to have as well, so surely we're going to get someone try the one-stop, especially with it being wet. You use a lot less throttle, you're slower picking up the throttle, and less throttle means less fuel usage. Fuel usage drops, and that's Daniel Morphy in the BMW off the road, just recovering from a small moment, and he's all good and going, I believe, looking at timing tower. Fabio Gibrino's just dropped down the order massively. What happened to Fabio? Or has he been to the pits? He's not been to the pits. This is what happened to Fabio. Oh, he's already off it. This is what happened to Fabio in the 07 Racing Acura. Through the corner that caused so many troubles in qualifying. Oh, on the white line, and loses the car. And looks like he mostly got away with it without damage, yeah, but he's lost a lot of time. A lot of time as he drives the boat that it is when it's on the wet grass back towards dry land. Eli Singh on his recovery drive. But I'll tell you who's not on a recovery drive is Thiago Demira, but he's alongside Ben Groneveld as these two battle it out. Carlos Ponce just got a black flag. That'll probably be for incident points. And Thiago Demira is going to hold on to fight another day. But less fuel usage means more laps from the tank. So I think we are going to see some one-stoppers here today. Surely we're 28 minutes in. We've not had many pit stops apart from a couple towards the back. So surely we're going to see some one-stoppers. Nicole Monti fending off Fabio Gibrino, who's just in the GTP trying to make his way on his recovery drive. And it's all hotting up again at the front. Samir Rashad is right back on the tail of Albert Preem, and he's gaining down the straight, gaining. I don't think he's going to be close enough for a move into turn 1, but is he going to try that alternate line through turn 1 to try and set up the move on the way into turn 4? He doesn't do too much different to usual. Just needs to see how good they both are on throttle application. That gap's extended to a second through turn 1. So Albert Preem will live to fight another day. Oriel Folks cut the gap, and Leon Van Elwart is the first to jump to the pit lane, 29 minutes and 48 seconds. He's hit the half race distance marker. Remember, you use a little bit less in the second half of the race as well, because you use you use a little bit on the formation as well, so you don't have that extra half a lap to make up. Oriel Falk, I told you he cut it down to half a second. He's cut it down to a couple of tenths. There's Vincenzo Soroche. I don't know if he's just trying to make a fuel number, but these two are going to go at it. And I tell you who can make a fuel number. If anyone can make a fuel number, it's Oriel Falk and his teammate, Adam Jarvis. Adam a little bit further down the order. He's had a couple of incidents, unfortunately, for Adam. But if one team can make a fuel number work, it's Spanglish Inquisition. Casper Hu and Emre Kamaldar going at it. And Vincenzo Soroche and Oriel Falk both come to the pit lane as we hit 31 minutes. I think we're going to have a flurry of action in the pit lane, actually. And we're going to get most cars heading to the pit lane this lap. We're up to 31 minutes. We're making it mega miles on the fuel, actually. Looking at these guys. Samir Rashad closing in again, but it's all to do with traffic and it's all to do with pushing, and that's going to cost him there as he has to just back off a little bit behind the GT3. That's Bran Karan, I believe, in the number 4 Ferrari. Cohen Jarrett and Jeffrey Ross in a battle on pit lane exit. Cohen Garrett gets ahead. Let's take a full look at this battle. Is Cohen Garrett and Jeffrey Ross down the pit lane inside each other, as you like to see, and they both know smart enough to stay close enough to each other that they're still ghosting so they can battle it out. And Cohen Garrett wins out that one through the pit lane exit. Remember though, the longer you can make it into this race, the shorter that second stop has to be. Leon Van Edelwatt's dropped down to P3, but that's because he's made his stop. The rest of the field have not made their stop. Leon's going to have a full tank of fuel though, so the others can put in some quick laps right now, but Leon will have the advantage back towards him in a couple of laps time once the rest of the field have made it into the pit lane. Jeffrey Ross not giving up this battle with Cohen. He's right on the back of him. This is for the podium, remember. It's a 20-second time penalty for Kamaldar. Looks like leaving the track and gaining an advantage. And causing a collision. Oh, battle in GTP. That's Casper Hu and Ruben Stegemann, I believe. No, it's not. It's Casper Hu and Emre Kamaldar, sorry. Emre in Pro just trying to make his way back up. He's got a bit of damage. It's a bit of a recovery drive for Emre. And on the, on the grass there for Casper. Albert Preem's just stretching his legs out front. He's 1.7 seconds clear and yet to come to the pit lane. Surely it's going to be this time by right. Surely these guys can't make it more than 35 minutes on fuel. That's what it would be if he stayed out another lap. I think this is going to be to the pit lane for Albert Preem and for Samir Shad. Albert Preem making his way past us, a lapped car there. No, still not into the pits for Albert Preem, but Samir Shad is. Albert stays out another lap. Koykoven to the pit lane. Can Preem make it? 35 minutes and the others are all diving in. Mayer to the pits as well. Surely Eloy's going to follow him in. Cran not happy with whatever's just gone down for him. Can't see anything. Well, here we go.
Red control.
Oh, Cran hitting the rear by the GTP. And that sends him spinning on the straight. That's not what he needed in the championship fight. Yeah, everyone else to the pit lane in GTP, bar Albert Preem, who stays out for an extra lap. And I'll tell a lie, actually. Juanto Avali and Sergio Sanchez also staying out an extra lap. Kevin Kuipers just on the attack, but it is a pro car in front, so it's if he's not losing any time behind the Acura, he's probably best to just stay tucked up behind, take the tow, reduce the fuel usage a little bit, and then he can push a bit more at the end. Is Albert Preem going to go to the pit lane? Here is the Dutchman on his way down this start-finish straight, and surely it's going to be to the pit lane for Albert Preem, and it is to the pit lane for Albert Preem. Does he get it stopped in time for the pit limiter? Yes, he does. Albert Preem down the pit lane for fuel. Daniel Morphy on the attack. That's Fabio Gibrino, who had that moment that we saw not that many laps ago, and Daniel Morphy trying to move his way past the man who was once running P3. Essen Koikkoven on the back of Samir Rashad after all that as well, just 3.5 times back. We're going to cut to that actually because that battle's getting spicy. The 4 cars that stayed out are all in this lap. Albert Preem's on the pit exit already, and Ayrton Koikkoven's going to try and go around the outside of Samir Rashad into turn 1. I don't think that's going to work. We've not seen it work yet today, and Samir Rashad just eases ahead in the braking zone. Oh, but he stays alongside. I tell you what, the Porsche driver's brave, but he has to back out for turn 2. And Albert Preem is already scuppering his way into turn 4. 8 seconds up the road. That gap's going to come down a little bit, but it will stabilise very shortly. It's going to be about 7 seconds, I think, by the time we get to the braking zone. And Maximilian Meyer on the back of this battle as well. So Albert Preem extending that lead by staying out on the low fuel tank. And Samir Rashad gets all sideways through turn 5. Eloy Cabanera getting close to his teammate Juanto Avale behind as well a little bit. But this battle's for the overall podium. We're going to watch this. Edson Koikkoven trying to get past Samir Rashad in the Ferrari. And Samir's going to get caught behind GT3 a little bit, and that's going to concertina these 3 GTPs that are all battling it out. And Meyer is not out of a shot of P2 here as well. We do not know what's going to happen. Anything can happen in this class. We've seen it in the past. We'll see it again. Oriol Falk is also closed up a little bit more to the back of Vincenzo Soroshi. That gap's back down to about half a second in GT3 Pro. GTP Samuel Shepherd still out there. Gosh, Samuel Shepherd pitted on lap 22, did he? If that's right, he's done a mega job to come out ahead of Leon. I'm not sure how he's done that. See if we can get the pit strategy up for you on screen. That's our leaders. Everyone's still out on the wets as well. You can see that. We'll get pit laps up for you. So Samuel Shepherd pitting on lap 22. He has actually come out 17 seconds ahead of Leon Van Elewot. Not sure how that's happened. Don't know if someone in race control could try and let me know if they're not too busy.
Car 63, push me out.
You can see there the pit strategies. So Leon Van Elewot, yeah, just down to P2, unfortunately for him. We're going to try and keep you updated on time penalties towards the end of the race. We've unfortunately not got the live information due to that crash that we had earlier. Albert Preem under attack from Ayrton Koikkoven and from Maximilian Meyer, who both closed up. Samir Shad's dropped back. We'll try and find out what happened to Samir. And this is going to be... something must have happened. I'm trying to find out how that gap has eroded out front. This was Samir Rashad's attempt on the lead. So what's happened to Samir? He's tried to go around the outside and just gone off the road. So everyone closed up to Preem. And for Samir, it just went wrong. Sinner Botkoven back up to P2 as he battles it out with Jack Reed. Oh, we've got GTP off in the background as he tries to make his way through the traffic. It's all getting a little bit desperate now. We're in that last 20 minutes. It's a bit more of a sprint. Everyone knows what's up with fuel now. Melvin Gax still with the lead in GT3 AM, despite that incident that we saw earlier on. I don't know if he's going to have to make an extra fuel stop because he pitted a little bit earlier. That's something to watch. Max Meyer looking for a move for P2 in the Cadillac. Jack Reed not giving up his battle with Senna Botkoven. He's back within a 10th, and I think he's going to have a move down into turn 4. Surely he's going to try it. He's on the outside. Can he make outside to inside? No, he can't. And he just has to settle out for it. Ayrton Koikkoven and Maximilian Meyer side by side. They were side by side. Now they're each side of the GT3 leader in AM. And they both, all three of them in fact, somehow make it out alive. And Ayrton Koikkoven stays ahead of Maximilian Meyer.
Lap 23, lap correct, turn 4.
Eck not happy about something, but Jack Reed trying to make his way on the outside once again. Can't make it work, but GCP ruins his plans a little bit. It's all part of multi-class racing.
Race control, lap 1, the T1, lap 24.
Ross on the radio, not happy about something. Team Chilton looking for a run on Quinton Bossy ahead for P7. And nothing going in the way on the way into turn 4. Ben Groneveld into the pits. Not sure what that was for. Sander Boer looking for a move on Mick Sayan, and he's going to try it down the inside. Is he on the accurate? Shows his nose. It gets a little bit closer, but too far back for a dive, unfortunately for him. But he's going to try and set it up into turn 4. We've seen this move so many times today. But Soroche having to defend for against Ariel Falk. We're not seeing him having to actually defend, at least not on screen yet. Jack Reed has just got past Senna Botkoven. Let's take a look at how that happened quickly. Senna on the brakes into turn 4, just goes deep. I think, yeah, he's going to be off the road there. So that's how that one was settled. Vincenzo doesn't make the same mistake in the lead Mustang. Samir Rashad looking for a move to get past into turn 1, and that's going to put him back on the podium, is it? Because and they're still going to battle it out. And I tell you what, Ayrton Koikeven's not going to back out this one, and these two are going to be losing time hand over fist to Maximilian Meyer. It doesn't matter to Samir Ishad because he's moved up the order back onto the podium. Oriel Folk looking for a move on the Mustang. 15 minutes to go. It's crunch time now. On the outside, Oriel Folk, can he make it work? No, he can't, because Vincenzo Soroche is just going to slot back in front on the way into turn 1. But Soroche actually a little bit deep in his late braking. It's cost him a little bit, and is that going to give Oriel Folk a run down into turn 4? It surely is. We've got a car coming out the pit lane. I don't think that's going to affect this battle too much. And I tell you what, they're side by side, and they're bumping wheels down the straight. It's the lead for Oriel Folk into turn 4 if he can keep it on the road. And oh, it's a switch back for Vincenzo Soroche. Can he get it up the inside of turn 5? No, he can't. Oriel Folk keeps and maintains the lead into turn 6. That's been coming all race. They've been going at it. Oriel Folk's eroded that gap, and it was down under 2 tenths. It was down under half a second for a fair few laps, but he finally found a weakness, a small mistake from Soroche into turn 2 that's going to cost him dearly unless he can get another run at Oriel here. He is holding on to the back of him nicely, but he's going to have to... Well, he's not necessarily seen it work in turn 1 for GC3, so it's going to have to be a move into turn 4, surely. That's Carlos Ponce's off the road just there. Vincent Ossoms is looking to move up ahead of Daniel Morphy if he can. Daniel Morphy in the Lamborghini having to go a bit defensive there as well, actually. That's Samir Ishad. Overall podiums here, they're trying to make his way through as well. So we've got 2 battles at once here, and Samir is well ride, and that's going to give Ayrton a chance to duck back under. Is Ayrton Koikeven back ahead of Samir Ishad? It is. Well done. Ayrton Koikeven taking advantage of the traffic very well. It's not the battle we came here to watch. That came out of nowhere. Ayrton Koikeven playing the traffic wonderfully. And he's going to have to go defensive into the final corner. And he gets it slowed down nicely. He's on the drier bit of the track. Gets a little bit more grip out of the corner. Samir Ishad, though, is not going to give this up. He's going to get a mega toe down to turn 1, actually. Look how close he is. That gap is coming down. Look at the timer on the top left of your screen. You can see it dropping and dropping and dropping and dropping and down the inside on the defensive for Ayrton Koikeven and Samir Ishad. Not able to make it work in turn 1, but will Ayrton make the same mistake we saw from Vincent? And it's not the same mistake, but he can't get his foot down very well because he took a bit too much curb in these wet conditions. And that is going to give Samir an even better shot into turn 4 there, side by side. Are they banging doors? No, but they nearly were. Down into turn 4. Samir Ishad back ahead on the brakes, but round the outside, and that's not going to work because there's not enough grip out there for Ayrton Koikeven, who tries to hang on around the outside, but unfortunately for him, cannot make it work. Team and Sholton looking to make it P7 on Quinton Bossi. These two have been going at it for a couple of laps. We saw this not that long ago. Team and Sholton. Ooh, and he's trying not to let the GCP through, and well, I'll tell you what, that worked to his advantage. The Acura BMW, sorry, not able to make his way past. That's the 666 of Samuel Shepherd, currently leading in GTP AM. And Team and Sholton now ahead of Quinton Bossi. Samuel Shepherd leading on debut then. Don't believe he was here for the Monza round. He was caught up in the early action, unfortunately for him. Coming back with a mega performance today. That being said, we're not sure who's got penalties. Team See if race control could send us a screenshot before we read out the results. Sander Boer looking to make it P3. I'm trying to get past Senna Bokhoven, who's starting to struggle a little bit here. Senna fought for the lead. He's now 24 seconds, 23 seconds thereabouts off that lead. So he's just struggled with the car today in race trim. Wasn't that long ago that he was battling with Jack Reed for P2. Oh, can he make it stick into turn one? He's close, trying to try and go around the outside in the Ferrari. We've not seen this work today, but I tell you what, he's got good on the brakes, but not as deep as Senna, who just hangs it out and gets good power actually on the exit. Neither of them able to pick up the throttle particularly early. Car 62 has just been black flagged. Trying to find car 62 for you on my board. Oh, Senna slow out of turn 4. They're going to give Boer a chance. Doesn't look like it. That's Nicoli Monti, who's just been black flagged, currently running P7. Jeffrey Ross looking for a move on Cone Gertz as they made their way past. That's a lapped car that's getting in the middle of all this. And I'm not sure entirely what's going on here because there shouldn't be a lapped car involved in the battle.
Andy, blue flag. Blue flag and one.
And this has brought Sven Elmers back into the battle as well. And Sven Elmer's up the inside of the Mustang, and that was close to contact, wasn't it? That nearly went very wrong. Don't know why we're looking for the, I think that's the number 6, is it? That needs to get out of the way, the blue and white Acura in front. Surprise race control haven't been on the radio just yet. And given that, blue flag car's pulled away a little bit, and Sven Elmers is down the inside for P4. Can the Mustang pick up the power a little bit better? And the Mustang stays ahead as they run. But that seemingly cost Jeffrey a chance at P3. He's dropped back a little bit now. 7 minutes to go in this race. Jeffrey Ross going to have to defend into turn 1 a little bit. Extends that gap on the brakes to try and close up to the car in front as well. Back under 7 tenths to Cone. In fact, back under 4 tenths to Cone. He makes a mistake through turn 2. McSayan and Sander Boer closing up to the back of Senna Bokhoven again. Sander Boer back ahead of McSayan. On the order a little bit. We're going to cut to that briefly if we can. It's all just settled out by the time we get. This is Sander Boer getting past McSayan, and Sander Boer just taking advantage here of the traffic. And working well for him. It's all part of the game.
Car 22 lets all three.
Oh, spinner in the background.
On the straight here.
Spinner in the background there. That's one of the GTPs, I believe. Is that Samuel Shepherd?
All 3 GT3s.
No, I don't think it was. Samuel Shepherd deep though in the final corner from the lead. And
Thanks, Andy. Was about
blue
time.
flagged car is now out of the way. I think that was Leon that's had that spin because he's now behind Casper Hu. Trying to find a replay, if we can, of what happened to Leon. This is what happened to Leon. And is it going to be the white line? Oh, wow. Just carried a little bit too much speed. It was on the white line. I think he just struggled to slow it down a little bit. So then Elmer's back on the back of Jeffrey Ross. There's these guys keep battling out. Samir Rashad puts in a purple lap time, 2 seconds quicker than what Maya managed using the lead. And Albert Preem's in the pit lane. What's happened to Albert Preem? Has he picked up a drive-through penalty because he's driving seemingly straight through? He is. It's a drive-through penalty for Albert Preem. Wow, our leader drops to P6. That just shows you how tight it is at the front. And Samir Rashad is putting in a shift to catch Maximilian Meyer. That gap came down 2 seconds on the previous lap. Senna Bokhoven's round. The driver who was running P3. What happened to Senna? Down into turn 1. Slow here. Mixane and the Acura behind, catching quick and all over the curb. Gets in the puddles and round goes the Corvette. Gregory Koa battling it out with Kevin Kuipers in the AM car. And the Acura driver now ahead. And that lead, I told you it came down 2 seconds last lap. It's come down another 1.4 this lap. And Meyer flashes the lapped car to get out of the way. And Samir Rashad is within half a second as they make their way through turn 2. We've seen Samir do this move before. He's going to set it up down into turn 4, isn't he? Ayrton's 12 seconds back. It's not wait out for Ayrton this final stint. But Samir may be in with a shout of the win. But not down into turn 4. The Cadillac with good straight line speed and good power application. And it's come down to these two cars with 2 minutes to go. I'm not sure what the lap times we're running at. We're running at 1:34, so I think we're going to get 2 more potentially. At least 1 more after this if we don't get the white flag. We should see, because we're going to follow this battle to the end, I think. We should see the white flag being waved when it is waved. But if it's not 1 to go, then Maximilian Meyer is in big, big trouble, because within half a second, with 2 good runs at it, and loose on the power for Maximilian Meyer, and I think this position's going to be gone before they even get to the start-finish line, because Samir Rashad is closing up rapidly. Meyer defends the inside. And can he stay in the lead into turn 1? He can, and stays ahead. We didn't see the white flag because we were too focused on this battle. Down into turn 4. Maximilian Meyer, this could be his last chance if it's the last lap. Defending Samir Rashad, trying to go around the outside. He's going to try and stick it out. Is he? Meyer carefully slots his car back in front of the Ferrari. And Samir Rashad getting desperate here, trying to go around the outside of turn 6. Albert Preem in the pit lane again. Is that another drive-through for Albert Preem? It's all crumbled away at the end for Albert Preem, who was running so well for the majority of the race. Samir Rashad trying to go around the outside. He's getting desperate. He's on the grass. This must be the last lap. Desperate moves from the Ferrari driver to try and get the lead. That's going to be a sigh of relief for Mayer, because given his run to the line last time round, he was at risk of losing the lead on the way into turn... Sorry, risk of losing the lead on the way down the start-finish straight.
3, corner 4.
Maximilian Meyer to the line. Is this going to be checkered flag? We're waiting to see. Yes, it is checkered flag for Maximilian Meyer. He's going to win his first race in the Anstel Racing IMSA Series. Congratulations to the driver of the 25 Cadillac. It's a race win. Samir Rashad comes home to finish P2. That last lap dive may be worth it in the end. Cohen Garrett still battling out with Jeffrey Ross, who's ahead now. Jeffrey Ross up into P3. We missed out when we were following that lead battle. This is how Jeffrey Ross got past Cohen Garrett's. Jeffrey with good drive. And down the inside, the decisive move under braking in the Mustang, and that's going to give him the position.
I'm gonna really rethink some life choices after this.
You're not the only one, Bram. You're not the only one.
Samuel Shepherd on his run to the line. We're going to try and catch all the leaders, but we don't know where they all are on track. Melvin Gack wins despite getting contact from the spinning GTP earlier. The Porsche driver, congratulations. Samuel M. Shepherd comes across the line to win. And wow. Samuel M. Shepherd on debut in a wet race comes home to win. Oriel Falk wins in GT3 Pro, and I think he's out of fuel. It's not over though in GT3 Pro. Daniel Morphy and Vincent Ossoms are battling it out. Daniel, can he get by before the line? It's going to be really difficult in GT3 unless the driver in front is struggling for fuel. He's tucked up right behind. He's not going to give this one up. To the line, he's flashing his lights. It's not going to be any more positions though for Daniel Morphy. And Daniel Morphy to the line, P7 behind Vincent Ossoms in P6. Maximilian Meyer is your race winner. Samir Rashad and Ayrton Koikhoven make up your podium. Samuel Shepherd, your winner in GTP Am, alongside Casper Hu and Leon Van Ellerwatt make up the podium. Your podium in GT3 Pro is Oriel Falk, Vincenzo Sirache, your pole sitter, who did a mega job. Jeffrey Ross in P3 after that late move that we saw on Cohen Garrett on the brace. Melvin Gack wins in GT3 Am by Jack Reed, and Mick Say and Cinnabotco dropped to P4 after battling for the lead at one point. Struggled with the handling on that vehicle towards the end of the race. All right, I'm going to run us through the results. They are provisional. Let's just see if I can get us a quick penalty rundown. Right, here they are then, your race results. GTP Pro, Maximilian Meyer wins on for Jen's brothers competition by 3.8 seconds to Samir Rashad, Ayrton Koikhoven, Eloy Cabinero, Juanto Avale, Ruben Stegemann, Albert Preem, who led for so long but 2 drive-through penalties at the end scuppered his chances of a race win. Alvaro Gutierrez comes home to finish P8, Sergio Sanchez P9, Emre Kamaldar P10, Daniel Reneke P11 on the road. Well, that is the order as they stand, but there are a fair few penalties to be applied. If you do want to get the more up-to-date results, you can head to our Discord server where you can get the full results. GTP Am then. Race winner Samuel M. Shepherd. Casper Hu, Leon Van Ellerwatt comes home to finish finish P3, Pete Preens P4, Tiago Demira P5, Ben Groneveld P6, Nicoli Monti P7, Carlos Pons P8, and Eli Singh P9, 21 laps down. I believe that's the first of the drivers that will not be scored. Yanni Kakkonen, Notkan Noyen, Brody Maynard, and Guilherme Rito make up your field, but those drivers, like I just mentioned, unlikely to be scored. GT3 Pro, Oriol Falk wins ahead of Vincenzo Charoche. A mega battle throughout the whole race for those two. Jeffrey Ross, Cohen Garris, and Sven Elmers were all close in that final stint, but Jeffrey Ross comes out ahead to finish off your podium. Cohen Garris P4, Sven Elmers P5, Ossoms P6, Morphy P7, Gibrino P8, Van Eck P9, Collar P10, Villajero in P11, Mohammadi P12, 11 laps down, followed by Jarvis, Ott, and Riva, all several laps down to the leader. And GT3 Am, your final race winner, is Melvin Gack, who hung on despite a big incident with a GTP where he managed to keep the car pointing in the right direction and get it to the pit lane. Jack Reed comes home in P2, Mick Sayan P3, and in P4 is Senna Bokhoven after a difficult race where he ran high earlier on, but couldn't keep it going where he was. Kevin Kuipers P5, Sander Bauer P6, Timon Scholten P7, Quinton Bossi P8, Xiao Medeiros in P9, Jesus Jimenez in P10, Brancram P11, Matteo Lemery P12, and Gerwin Mullenkamp 22 laps down in P13 will not be scored, so did not complete the minimum race distance. Okay, well, that was a mega super chaotic Brazilian race, Interlagos. Nice amount of rain though. We had a good amount of rain. I think the track conditions were nice, challenging, and we're going to get ready to go again. I'm just going to try and give you another quick rundown of what we've got to come. We're back next week at Zolder, and then we're going to break week for the Race for Cause 24 race. And then we're going straight into that big run of 6 races to finish off the season with the Red Bull Ring, Mugello, Virginia International Raceway for our GT3 only race, Barcelona the week after for our GTP only race, Spa-Francorchamps the penultimate round of the season, and we're going back to Portimao for a 90-minute season finale. Thanks to everybody that joined us today, and if you want to find out more about the series and the full results post stewarding, head over to our Discord page to see all of that information. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next week.